introduce myself. My name is Melissa Moncam. I'm 19 years old. I'm actually the daughter of Vincent, right? The fille de Vincent. That's my dad, Vincent. And yeah, I'm actually so blessed to actually be in front of you guys today. And just, being able to open up this call is an amazing opportunity. I'm someone that, is really into, social media marketing. I'm also really into, just connecting with people, networking. So the fact that you guys have this space to connect every single day, I truly admire it. And I do want to start this call off with just massive gratitude, right? And I'm really big on interaction, right? So if everyone in the chat, could just type in, one thing that they're grateful for today, right? One thing they're grateful for. For me, I'm grateful for waking up this morning. I'm grateful for my limbs, right? I'm grateful for my good health. I'm grateful for my family. So many things to be grateful for. That's how I like to start off calls, because understand, even without Wi-Fi, we wouldn't even be able to connect from all places in the world. So that's truly a blessing, right? So a lot of gratitude that I do have. But okay, I see I'm grateful for my family and having breath in my body. Amen. That is amazing. But yes, I do want to go ahead and just get this call started. The next speaker that we have that's, going to actually, be educating us and really giving us some insight today is, a really awesome woman. I've actually, had the opportunity to connect with her earlier today, and just hearing a little bit of her story, I was just like, wow, you're truly so brave. And the fact that you made such a big move and made such a big decision, right, to actually separate yourself and, just try, something new, divulge into a different experience, that's something, that type of bravery is truly, admired. And the fact that you're actually on this call to just share your experience with other people is truly amazing, guys. So just want to say, everyone, while she's speaking, have your questions ready, be ready to ask, be ready to just really pick her brain, because she can really give us all some insight on what it is to actually have the true, Cameroon experience. So I'm going to go and pass it over to our speaker, Shariese. Queen, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Hey.
Can you hear me? The connection is a little off. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we get you.
Yes.
Melissa? Okay. Okay, great. Okay, I didn't know, this is Cameroon, so the connection is kind of in and out.
Yes, I can hear you really well.
Okay, see, now everything is frozen. Okay, so let me introduce myself. I'm Shariese Lachelle. My last name is Brown. I am originally from Houston, Texas. Been there, raised there, grew up there all my life. And when I was young, I always wanted to live abroad or go live and do something different. And my Aunt Barbara, she's no longer here. She passed away in 2008. But when I was growing up, she used to do mission trips. She's traveled to Ghana, Nigeria. She's been to Brazil and a lot of other places like that on mission trips to help others that was unfortunate. So that's kind of where I got my inspiration and where I kind of saw something different outside of the environment that I was in the US. So in 2017, I met my husband, and he is Cameroonian, and he came in 2012 to the US in Houston. And when we met, when we talked and swapped stories, we pretty much had the same vision to always, he wanted to come back to Cameroon, and I wanted to come and live somewhere abroad or live somewhere different. So we were on the same page with that. So doing that, we just hit it off, and we came here July 5th of 2020. So I've been living here in Cameroon for over a year now, and it's been great. It has had its challenges, but for the most part, everything that I've experienced and went through that was not so good. It was definitely worth the wait and worth the sacrifice.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, so that you've been in Cameroon for over a year now. So, what are the challenges you actually face? I mean,
Well, when I traveled here, it was my first time on the continent ever. So I didn't come to visit for a couple of weeks to like see how things were, see if I liked it or not. I packed up everything and came straight to Cameroon. First time on the continent and everything. So the challenges that I faced was the challenges that I faced were, being from US, the processed foods and all that, and then coming somewhere here, the food actually is, in my opinion, better because it's whole. It doesn't have a lot of preservatives and all that type of things. So my body had to adjust to that. And also, I ended up getting malaria and typhoid at the same time. So I became very, very ill. And they did tell me that, traveling to, this type of environment, when you're in US, if you stay in somewhere like here, after about 2 or 3 months, you'll start to maybe get sick because your body is adjusting to, the environment, the weather, the water, and all those type things. So, yeah, that was one of my biggest challenges was when I, getting sick. And I didn't even know what typhoid fever was until I came here. And now, because I did take the yellow fever vaccination, but I didn't know that they have a typhoid vaccination as well. So now I know that. Now I'll take the typhoid vaccination.
okay. So, if you got any advice to anyone to avoid having them kind of illness, sickness, so what would you say to the
I
person?
would say definitely, the yellow fever is definitely required. You can't even get into the country without it, So of course your passport, the yellow fever vaccination, and I would suggest that they take the typhoid.
Okay.
Also, prior to me leaving, I was able to get my doctor to write me a prescription for the malaria medication. So I actually took a couple of doses of that, like maybe a week prior to me traveling.
Yeah.
But I didn't get malaria until a few months down the line.
Okay.
And also, you just have to have an open mind. Because, in US, we're used to the comforts, the hot water, the AC, everywhere you go, there's AC. Well, it's not like that here in Cameroon.
Yeah.
And me and the heat, we're not friends. So when I came, I told my husband, one of my biggest requirements was wherever we choose to live, if we could just possibly have an AC unit in the house, so I can, cool off when I need to.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, about the typhoid and malaria. When you say that, I can imagine because I had it myself. I had both at the same time at one point, and I was told that the reason I had typhoid because I was drinking water from the tap. So, what sort of water do you drink when you're in Cameroon?
So I believe typhoid is contracted through contaminated water or even food. And mine, I believe, was food.
Okay.
So I went to a place, it was a little pizzeria, and they had the fresh bell pepper and onion cut on top. It wasn't cooked or sauteed. It was just on top of the pizza.
Okay, all right.
And that next day, because I ate it on a Sunday, that next morning, I was so sick. I was very sick. And I didn't even know it was typhoid. They said it was malaria. And after about 2 or 3 days, I wasn't getting better. So my husband took me back to that clinic. They did more tests and they said, oh, you have typhoid. So I ended up having to be hospitalized, and they started an IV treatment right away. And they only gave me one treatment. Even that wasn't good enough. So I kept suffering with it for like maybe a month. I was taking the traditional treatment.
Okay.
And finally, I'm like, it's not getting better. So
Okay.
I went to another clinic, and I ended up having to have IV treatments for 7 days
Okay.
to fully, recuperate and get rid of the disease.
Okay.
So it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah, I imagine, because I went through the same thing, and I was quite blessed because my elder brother was a doctor, so he actually kind of identified that quite early, and then my ticket was changed, and I was back to the UK to get the treatment for that. And so how do you feel about hospital in Cameroon? Because it's a big thing, because what we notice that a lot of people in Cameroon who are not well, they prefer to leave the country to get a treatment somewhere else. So how do you feel about the hospital over there?
How are the hospitals here?
Yeah.
Oh, the private, if you go to the private hospital, it's pretty good. It's okay. But the public hospital, I wouldn't know because I did not go there.
Okay.
And another thing is while I was here, and when I got COVID, I was in the they call it ORCA, and it's the intake center that they have for the COVID patients.
Okay.
And that alone, let me tell you, it was quite an experience. I literally thought I was going to die. It was awful. No, it was some stuff, just to even talk about it is traumatizing because it was so scary. And what made it even worse is my husband was in the US at the time for business. So he wasn't even here. And my family, which is his family, was taking care of me. And I was brought in, I was unconscious, I was out. They didn't know what to do. And so when they took me to one hospital, they said, well, does she have COVID? Is she positive for COVID? So my sister-in-law said, yes, she is. And they said, well, we can't take her here. There's an intake center here in Yande in town, and you have to take her there. That's the only hospital that would accept me. Wow. And because I was so sick and I was unconscious, I didn't have a choice. And I woke up and, they were speaking French, and I'm not fluent in French yet. So it was pretty scary. And it was so bad till I ended up having to call the US Embassy after my second or third day there, because they didn't want to let me out. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So
yeah, that story, I can write a book about that story. I can write a book about that one.
The ancestor was quite good, so that's why we reconnected today. So and thanks for that. I don't know if anyone has got questions, before we can carry. Anybody question anything? Anyone? Okay, go ahead, brother.
I have a.
Go ahead, can you hear me? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
All right, my name is Kenneth Blackwell, and I'm up in age, I guess, compared to most people on right now. I do have a question for Shariese, but I first want to say I am very grateful, not only that I woke up today, but also the technology today, where we're able to get our DNA tests. When I was younger in school and in my hometown, we had different communities. So you would always hear the boys say, that they're Italian American or they're Irish American or whatever it might be. So if eventually, when we gravitated to calling ourselves African American, then I was questioned. They were never questioned. So in a way, you didn't feel like you belonged anywhere because you didn't know where your ancestors came from. So I did get several different DNA tests. And on my mother's side is Bemeleki. On my father's side is Yoruba in Nigeria. And of course, many African Americans have other percentages in us. But those were the two larger percentages. My first statement to Shariese, I was going to ask her, but she already made the statement about having an open mind. Back in 76, I believe, I was very fortunate to be able to go to Nigeria, and I lived there for about 11 months.
Wow.
And as I stated, a younger boy, I knew that something was missing, and I would go to the library and I would read, I think, every book that they had on Africa, even though we know how biased those books were. But even as a young boy, I knew that I had to read in between the lines and make my own discernment. So I always felt like I belonged somewhere. And when I had that opportunity to go to Nigeria, I had an open mind.
Right.
I knew that it would be different, but I knew that I had to accept how they lived and take it on as being my own. The best time of my life were those 11 months.
Yes.
Okay. So I agree with you, an open mind.
Yes.
But my other question goes back to your medical care. Can you describe how you feel about the quality of care? Being an elderly man, I want to get to the Cameroons and go back to Nigeria for a visit. I remember what the care was back then in Nigeria. But if you can describe the quality of care that that you got in the States versus what you got in the Cameroon, that could make me feel more comfortable should something happen to me while I'm there.
Okay. Yes, that's a fair question. So they do have private hospitals or private clinics here. But honestly, I hate to say it, but it's really about money. If you have the money then you go to a private hospital and they're going to take the best care of you. But if you go to a public hospital, even if you have the money, the problem is the standards, the conditions, some of the equipment, the maintenance of the facilities is not like back in the US. It's not. Now, this private hospital that I went to, it was very clean, but like I said, it was private and it was expensive. So they have to do better with the healthcare here, because it's not to the standard as you would see in the US. It's just not. Yeah.
Thank you.
That was a good question.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we had Sister Tika. She had a question as well. I don't know if she's still there.
Yes, Shariese, I'm thankful that you are here with us, and the ordeal that you had to go through. I am so sorry, but I'm thankful that you asked us what we were thankful for. I'm thankful to be here. We had a lot of deaths on my side and my husband's side, but some was young, some was elderly. I think the worst one has happened to us. It was a young guy that was friends, their grandson. He was 24, but he didn't have COVID. He had seizures. And I've got a granddaughter the same age that he is. And when I heard about it, I thought, Lord, that could have been my granddaughter. And I just gave God just the credit where credit was due, that she's here. But I know what they're going through, because no matter what you say, what you do, it just doesn't really make any sense right now. And when people are sick, best that you can do for them is just give them your support. So I'm thankful that you're here. Another question I was wanting to ask you, do y'all not have American insurance? Do they take American insurance? Or do you have to have a private insurance company over there?
I believe it depends on the insurance. I do know some American insurance do offer international coverage, but not all of them do. But honestly, for me, when I was in the hospital, first of all, when I went to the Orca when I had COVID, that one I didn't have to pay anything because it was funded by the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization gave millions to the Ministry of Healthcare here in Cameroon to take care of patients who get COVID. So I did not have to pay. But now when I went to the private hospital, my husband, we paid out of pocket because it was more, we didn't have international insurance or coverage. Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, anyone, any question?
Well, since it's quiet, I guess I can open my mouth again.
Yeah, go ahead.
This
Yeah,
question is
everybody, feel free to ask me. That's what I'm here for. I want to answer any questions that you have. I'm open. Remember, I'm open.
okay. Now, the question that I have right now has to do, I guess, with subscribing. I thought that I had subscribed to your channel, and I'm sure that you're posting things since I thought that I had subscribed, but I'm not getting any feeds from you. You have any suggestions?
Okay, so if you subscribe, if you're not getting any feed, did you click the little bell that's next to the subscribe button?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I go back and I'll try again then and see if I can find the bell.
Okay, so you can do that, and also I have to be more consistent on the videos now because I had a lot of people in the comments was like, we've seen this video and it's great, but can you start making more? So I just need to be consistent and do more videos. So I'm gonna make a commitment and do that.
Okay.
Have you thought of those of us in the diaspora who would like to come and visit Cameroon? And I would have been there this year if it wasn't for the COVID.
Right.
And I'm unsure about how far they will be with vaccinations there in 2022. But have you thought of starting some sort of I don't know whether it's a travel agency or something where even after we arrive, you can give suggestions, where about restaurants or museums or sites or things that are going on in different communities that we can go to and visit.
Yes,
have you thought of that?
I've thought about it. And like I said, since I've been here over a year, even just recently, I've made some pretty good connections. And, but yeah, that's something even Muncam and he was telling me about that a couple of days ago. Going to try to put something together for those that's at least in this group, and who knows, how far to go, but at least offer some type of service or something that we can do to accommodate those who are coming from US to come to want to visit Cameroon. Especially the big thing is the places to live, because the places here, if you go online, put a lot of fake pictures up online, and what you see online versus what you actually will see in person is completely different. So if someone wants to come here and give me the dates or something, we can probably try to arrange where wherever you're trying to go stay, I can go myself and look at it to see if it is what it is. Yes, we need to do things like that. Because even for us, when we first came, his sister had to go and find a place. We found a lot of nice places online, but when she would go check them out, it was nothing like the pictures, So that's a very important thing to do.
And see, as long as it's fair priced, I'm sure that could help you in making a living there, because that would be something I would be willing to use.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that would be be good for me, because as of now, I'm not working or anything. So, but my husband and I now, we did come and we started our own business here. But he manages all of that. So I'm just I'm free to live my life, and I take care of our son. And I'm so grateful for that. At first I was like, oh, I need to work. Because that's that American mindset, work, work, work. It's like a rat race, And so my husband said, babe, you're free, you're here. God is good. God is helping us. We have our business. You just take care of the household, take care of our kid, and that's it. And I'm like, okay, merci beaucoup. So I'm telling you, the feeling is just, I can't even describe it. Sometimes we don't have water or the light will go out. It always comes back, but just knowing I don't have that stress. I'm in a place where I am the majority, I feel so welcomed here, and I belong here, so it's an amazing feeling. And that's what keeps me here. That's what keeps me here, is that freedom.
Do you have experience a lot with go slow?
What is it?
Go slow? Traffic?
The traffic?
Traffic
here in Cameroon? Oh, It is the way they drive here, and when traffic is bad, it can be pretty bad. Yeah. And some of the roads are not so good, but thank God the area we live, my son's school, our place of business, and our home is not too far from each other. Yeah.
Okay.
Brother Kenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Jerry. I'm waving at you right now. I want to welcome you, family. I am Yoruba and Fulani. Just want to say hey to my family.
Oh, okay. Welcome, Cabo.
Yeah, Cabo.
That was a good question, Brother Kenny. That was a really good question. So as sister says, so we're looking into how we can make things more easy. So we're gonna work on it. It's a good thing to have somebody already on the ground, because she knows everything. She's went through everything, so she knows where to look, how to look, and the best place to go.
Exactly.
That's a good question.
Exactly.
So my other question now, sister, you said that about working in Cameroon. I know that Cameroon doesn't have a dual nationality. So when you get married to somebody from, does that make things easy for you?
Yes, absolutely, because my husband is the breadwinner. So he takes care of the family financially, and it makes it easy for me, and I take care of everything else.
Okay. I mean, in terms of like a work, if you need to work, so the government allow you to maybe work, give you a work permit or some kind of status.
Yeah, now, as far as the work permit and all that here, I'm not sure if I was to work here, I'm sure I would have to. But for me, I think my only opportunity would be probably the U.S. Embassy. And they do have another company here. It's like I forget the name of it, but it's a logistics company, and they have people, like I met a couple in Carrefour who, the guy was actually from Indiana in the US and she was from Switzerland, but they've grown up in Cameroon all of their life. Like, and the guy, he speaks perfect French, you know? And so his wife works for a company. It's like, I think they do missionary work and some other things. But far as the working visa, a working permit, that one I'm not too sure of because I'm not working or anything.
Okay.
But I will say I do have my resident card.
Okay.
And yes, because the visa only lasts for so long. So when we went to get the resident card for adults, it's 250,000 francs, which is close to almost 500 American dollars.
Mhm.
And for my son, kids, or because he was a student, it was 30,000 francs. So, and it's good for, I believe, 2 years.
Okay.
And then after this one expires, the next one will be for 10 years. And that one is about 750,000 francs.
Okay.
So it's a little expensive, but it's worth it because now I'm officially a resident here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is it like in America or any other country where as a permanent resident, you can after some year get the nationality? Does that work that way, or is it only something for you to be legal in the country?
It's only something to be legal in the country because right now, Cameroon does not accept dual citizenship like Ghana, right?
Yeah.
Now, there were talks about it a couple of months ago where they were actually trying to maybe put in a policy to authorize dual citizenship. And honestly, I think it would be great for Cameroon because you'll have a lot of diaspora that come, give them citizenship, and it'll help the economy of the country, the growth, the development, and everything, So yeah, but for now, it's just the residency is my legal way to stay in the country.
Okay. Good. Anyone, any question?
Yes, I have a few.
Okay.
Okay, my first question was about when you were speaking on insurance and having to pay out of pocket. How does the out of pocket cost compare to like US out of pocket?
So versus paying out of pocket and versus having insurance?
Because I know, like I've heard in Ghana, like when you have to pay out of pocket, it's not for like certain services, it's not that much. So
Right.
Is it the same for in Cameroon? Is it not that much, or?
It's true, yes. I believe so. So let me see. I went to see a doctor and I think it was like 15,000 francs for the visit. 15 or 20,000 francs. And that's about what, $40 or less than $40? It's really inexpensive. And another thing, the prescriptions here. So if I have a cough or I have a cold and I say I need antibiotics, I can go to a pharmacy without a prescription. Because in the US, you have to have a prescription from a doctor to get that medicine.
Yeah.
And here in Cameroon, you go, you talk to the pharmacist, you tell them your problem, and they'll recommend a medication for you. And they'll give you the drug without a prescription. Now, there are certain drugs, like a high level of pain medication, certain high level of antibiotics where you do require to have a prescription from a doctor to get those drugs here in Cameroon. And the drugs, I would say, honestly, I'm impressed because I can go and get antibiotics for 3,000 CFA franc. 3,000 is like what? Less than $10.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty good, So if I have to say something about the healthcare, I think the way that part is good. But the downside to that is you do have a lot of people who abuse
Yeah.
antibiotics. And we all know that when you take too many antibiotics, it can be bad on your liver and on your kidneys. You know, because it doesn't require you to have antibiotics every time you're sick.
Right.
And my husband has a cousin who actually died from overuse of antibiotics. Yeah. So that's the only downside. So you kind of gotta be careful with that. That's why they always advise you to talk to the pharmacy first and kind of, you know, go that route.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Second question. I wanted to know what ethnic group your husband was from.
The tribe he's from?
Yes.
So on his father's side, he's Iton, and his mother's side is Basar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he's got a mix there.
So Eto, which is a Betty side.
Okay. Okay. I know Betty. Okay.
Betty, yeah. Not far to Yaoundé.
Okay.
Yeah. And Bassa is actually in the central.
Oh, I know Bassa.
Part of Cameroon.
Yeah. Okay.
And so when he came to US, but now he has his American citizenship. And I want to say this too. I want to just touch on that. So anyone that is originally from Cameroon, they go to the US and they get their citizenship. And when they come back, I will tell you that some Cameroonians, they treat my husband different. And it's not nice. It's almost as if they're jealous. Yes. Even some from the UK, when they come here, they kind of some kind of way. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, last question. I know your son is in school, so I wanted your opinion on how old is he?
He's 3.
Okay.
Yeah, he's young.
So how is the school system there, do you think?
So he goes to a private international school. It's called Greener Pastures. And it is awesome because it's bilingual. So he is, of course, English is his first language, but he's also learning French. And I love it because all the books, like the school books that he have, I'm like, I know this is where I'm going to be because on all the books, you got all the brown kids. They all Black, okay?
Great.
Yeah.
And I love that, so, just to see that, and some are in French and some are in English. And Conrad started school at 2 years old. Here they start school very early. Yes. And he knows his addition. He know how to count and so once he gets to like kindergarten and first grade, he's going to be very well advanced. I would say that. Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that was it for me for now. There is some questions in the chat though I see for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Avanti. That was great questions. Well, we're gonna start with the ladies first. So, Sister Lisa, you got a question? Go ahead.
Hi, I want to tell you, I've been watching you on YouTube. So I saw your story when you were in the hospital and with COVID. And I was like, ooh, that's why I'm not coming there until after the pandemic is over. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah. So I don't know, because I got on a little late, then I had to leave for a few minutes. But I don't know, how were you treated? Were you welcomed? Being, African American, how, by and large, how do people treat you there? Do you feel welcomed, or do you are you family, or are you like step family?
No, I'm family. So my husband's family. So prior to me coming here, I had already developed a relationship with his mom. She is the best mother-in-law, and his sisters, everyone was so welcoming. They always were so genuine. And truth be told, I have more support here than even back in US because like I said, everyone is working, everyone is doing their own thing. People don't have time for family. And it's like a rat race because, we have to work, we have to pay that mortgage, pay for that big truck, pay for this and that. And it's just, everyone's just going. But here, everyone has been so welcoming. Even when I'm out and about, people know me now. So since I don't speak French, I have my people I don't know if you guys saw the video where I went into the market. I go to Fundi Market myself, buy all of my stuff. Girl, yes, I negotiate everything.
Yeah.
Yes, and so, but when I first came, people were looking, they were like, okay, she's different. And they thought I was Cameroonian. But the minute I start to speak, they're like, oh, we're gonna get this, we're gonna get her for another extra 1,000 francs. But now they don't get me, I get them.
That's the fun of it.
Yes. It's an adventure, I'm telling you. Not one day is ever the same. It's not. Something different every day.
Yes, but when I had gone to, and I know I'm out of turn, but when I had gone to Nigeria, I experienced exactly what you stated. People, the minute you open your mouth, they knew that we're not from there. And if you were in the marketplace, and if you were not with someone who knows, you were paying out the nose.
Yes.
And I had learned, some of the phrases, to say like "Eloni," how much is that?
Yes.
And then they like you said, they start negotiating, haggling with you, as long as you knew the phrases.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're in trouble. All right, I keep quiet now.
Oh, and then one other question was, do you get US TV, or what do you miss about the US besides like your family and stuff?
So, well, I have my Netflix. We also have Amazon Prime. Now we did have the cable. I believe it's called, they have a couple of them. They have Canal TV. Canal TV is actually the best. They have the best channels, but most of them are all in French. They do have some English speaking ones, but for me, I'm mostly on YouTube and I watch a lot of Netflix. So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But what I miss about the US is hot water all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And let me tell you, those little things we take for granted, we take for granted. So it just makes me even more humble and more grateful, so yes.
Cool. Last question. What did it feel like when everybody looked like you when you first got there? And everybody was brown too.
I know one of the first times we went to my husband's village and how they were so welcoming, and to see all the people, it brought me to tears because of the feeling was I'm just like, wow. And me, the people that are around me here, they treat me like a queen. Oh. They really do. They treat me like a queen. Yes. They put me here. They really do. They do.
Did you do your African ancestry?
I did not. And I'm glad you asked that question. Prior to us coming here, I was planning to do that. But so let me tell you, so originally we were supposed to come in April of 2020 because we got our visas in February of 2020. Well, after we got our visas, I would say, the end of March, the pandemic hit. So we were not able to come in April as we planned. So we were stuck in the house for 3 months before we were able to travel. And I also got COVID in US as well. So I've had COVID twice. Y'all, I'm a survivor, okay?
Wow.
I'm a survivor. No, seriously, I have had COVID twice. Once in US and once in Cameroon, but here in Cameroon, it was the worst because the symptoms and I was unconscious when I arrived. So it was bad. Yeah.
All right. Well, make sure you do that because you might be from Cameroon. You might be Takar too.
Yes, and I was gonna say to you, Jolie, I have an aunt, my Aunt Lisa.
Okay.
If I show you her picture, y'all skin tone and stuff, you look just like my aunt. You look just like her. Yes. And actually she did her ancestry and it came back, she was 25% Cameroonian.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't do that one. Do African ancestry because they gonna tell you.
So
Not
let me ask you.
ancestry.
So do which one to do? Which one should I do?
African ancestry because they're gonna.
Yeah,
it's Black owned and operated,
Okay.
and they've been around for like 20 something, almost 20 years. So they're just gonna tell you what modern day country and what tribe and what ethnic group.
Yep.
Okay.
That your DNA matches with.
Right.
Okay.
Not that percent that the white people tell you. That's
okay.
But in response to what the sister just said, my only disappointment is I felt elated when I found out that I was Bamaleki, but there's so many different groups within the Bamaleki, and my only disappointment is not being able to narrow it down to that group. I would love to be. So
which one did you do?
African ancestry. Well, I did them all, but African ancestry I did too.
Okay.
And that's an African ancestry on my mother's side was the one that gave me Bamaleki.
Okay.
Okay. But it could not tell me which group within Bamaleki.
Okay.
And it would be great if I knew that, because when I finally do go, I want to go to those villages. Yes. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Right now, I can just go to any Bamaleki village.
Yeah.
You know what? I understand what you're saying, but you'll probably feel at home in one of those villages.
Yeah.
Your ancestor will probably come through like, this is the one. You know what I mean?
You know what? You know what? You know what? And I agree. I definitely agree, because I remember when I had gone to Nigeria, you asked that question about being in a country where everyone looked like you. Well, that was such an experience for me. I felt so free walking amongst my brothers and sisters that looked like me.
Yes.
I remember looking at TV and a commercial came on, and it was, and I'm sure you guys remember Bazooka Joe, the bubble gum.
Yeah, Bazooka.
Well, when you open it up, you remember how it had the little paper in there and it had little sayings on it?
Yes.
You remember what Bazooka Joe looked like? He was pink. Right?
Yes.
When I was in Nigeria, Bazooka Joe was black. That took me out.
Amen.
That took me out. And I'm telling you, I felt so much at home. And I was so welcomed by everyone. When you went into their home, you had to take a bite of something.
Yes.
You had to, otherwise you offended them. So I'm sure if I went to anywhere in Bamaleki or in Cameroon, whether it was French or English, I would feel welcomed.
Yeah.
Well, Brother Kenneth, you don't need to find anything. We both look alike, so you can call my Bamaleki group. You just look like me, so you don't need to look for anything.
Touche.
We all go there.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
Brother Donald's got a question as well. Sorry, brother, it took a little bit longer. So go ahead, ask your question, please.
Anybody, any more questions?
Hello, brother Donald. Donald?
I got a question.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's a question and an answer too. I'm glad people are doing the African ancestry test. That's what I've done. I've done other tests as well. That's where I found my Yoruba and my Fulani. And I didn't tell the rest. I'm also Kisana out of Burkina Faso. I'm a part of the Telebi, the Gurunzi tribe there.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I really wanted to say. We must understand when we come to America through enslavement, we have so much other admixture.
Yes.
That we get kind of confused about when we go back to Africa looking for one particular tribe. Listen, it's that. It's that. All you got to do is get to Africa. I haven't been yet because of COVID. I haven't been. I plan to go.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, they don't have the admixture like we have here because they didn't come to America.
Yes.
You can get off the boat, you can get off the airplane. And when you get off, they'll point you where you need to go to the tribe of people that you and I come from. It's waiting on us.
Yeah. And you know, and I want to say something about that. Some of the ones that's here and been here and never traveled or anything. I had someone ask me, and she wasn't trying to be offensive, but she just, because she's been here, they didn't have people that were slaves in their tribe or anything. And when I first got with my husband, my mother-in-law, she asked my husband oh, is she of slave descent? And my husband said, Mom, you can't ask that because that's offensive. I said, no, but I understand why she's asking. And I said, well, and I told my mother-in-law, I said, well, yes, I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, and that just opened up another conversation. And I'm telling you, it's, but coming here, it's so, like I told you, when you're here, just the smell, and like when I first landed, when we got here, and just to see, everything, the weather, the smell, the ground, it was just so, it was just fascinating, and it was a feeling that I can't even tell you. You just got to come to feel it for yourself.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I like the way you put it. That's beautiful. It just excites me more to want to come, because I intend to find the rest of my people. I'm down to the tribe, but I want to go meet my family.
Yes.
I want to know who they are and learn the culture, learn the language, because my people on the Burkina Faso side, they spoke French like you. I don't know French either. And I'm working with a sister now in New York who's trying to help me a little bit to learn some of the French language. So when I go there, I can, be able to relate. So I'm glad you said that, so I don't get deuced on money.
Yeah. And even too, I need to, my grandmother she's 86, and she's probably the only one left surviving who I can talk to get down, because she was telling my mom a story of our history, that her parents were from a country here, but I'm not sure which one. And my husband was telling me the other day, he said, babe, you really need to talk to your grandmother and tell her all the history, get all the history from your grandmother, because she's the one that's going to know. And on my father's side, I know my grandmother's mother, she was actually mixed, but she was from La Martinique. Yes. And then they went from La Martinique to Louisiana. So I'm mixed with a lot, and my grandfather was light skinned. He could almost pass for a white man. So yeah.
Yeah. We all are here the same way that you are, and have that admixture. I'm going to be doing a class in here. I'm I think I'm going to try to do it next week about some of what you're talking about, even with the information that you get from parents and grandparents. A lot of that stuff is so important. And with that, we'll talk more about it, but how that needs to be validated. Validation in what you is very important.
Yes, it's so true.
And if I may, when he was talking about he would like to know, his people, that was what I was getting at. Yes, I felt at home with all the people that I met in Nigeria, whether they were Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, Igbo, and I can go on. All the ones that I met, I really did feel at home and felt welcomed by them. Right. What I was getting at was, if I could, I would love to be able to trace back to at least that percentage of me, because I have two large percentages, one Yoruba, which is the largest, and the other is Cameroon, Bamileke. I would love to be able to meet my people in those two groups if I was able to drill down to that. That's all that I was getting at when I said my disappointment. But I'm elated.
Yeah. Me and you need to get together, especially work with the Yoruba, because I'm very interested in about Yoruba are very strong people, very strong, real people, and very nice.
You have to see the chief of Bamileke.
Yeah.
Say that again?
You have to see the chief of Bamileke so you can go to him for divination to talk to you about deeperness. If you're talking about in-depthness of your family, of Bamileke.
Correct.
That's the way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's correct.
That's the way to do it, is to see the chief of the tradition. The tradition would tell you. And when they consult and when you receive your name is referred to what your ancestor that appeared.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would have to be arranged prior to my going to see the chief.
Yes, you have to talk to the Bamileke people and connect and ask to speak to the chief. You have to speak to the one who is the old elder who can tell you these things. They can be able to consult and help go deeper once you're on the land.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. We had Brother Toko to come. How he stand up as well. Wambe, Prince Wambe. Go ahead, speak, brother.
How you doing, brother? Yamala.
Yamala.
I had two questions. Well, first, let me make a statement. I hear you guys would like to narrow things down. Sometimes your ancestors guide you in the right way. They will put you in your village that you actually supposed to be in, which happened to me. I lived it firsthand. I heard somebody say, just do African Ancestry. I would say, don't just do African Ancestry. Do 23andMe, do Ancestry, because you can put, the difference is African Ancestry, they will destroy your information after they tell you your results. But 23andMe and Ancestry, they will put your information in a larger database, okay? If you want to know more, if you want to find someone, a relative, you can put that information in something that's called GEDmatch, okay? GEDmatch will put it in a larger database, and if somebody from Africa who actually took their DNA, it will come back and they'll be able to tell you what village and what, if they're a relative or not. This is what happened to me, okay? So I took Ancestry and I took African Ancestry. But my ancestry, before I got my results back from GEDmatch, when I put my information into Ancestry, my ancestors already put me in the right village, okay? So while I was there and I met with the chief, Mafan, and I did my naming ceremony and everything. Come to find out, the people who I was with was actually my blood cousins. Everyone there was relatives of mine.
That's how it
my
works.
Wambe, who passed away, who moved on, Papa Santos, Wambe Santos, he was my uncle, okay? And I did not know it until my JED match told me that his son was my blood cousin. So believe in your ancestors, believe that the village that you will go to can help you. Okay, so that was a statement. Now my question is to the sister. I'm sorry that I kept going in and out. I was having internet issues, but I heard you say you had your residency. My question is, were you able to get your are you only able to get your residency because you was married to a Cameroonian, or were you able to get it outside, or were you able to also get that information outside, or get that residency are you able to get that residency even though you're not like married to a Cameroonian?
Yes, you are. So when we first came after we got here, they extended our visa for about 3 months. After the extension, we applied for the residency and we got it right away. So did he, because he's American too now, or he has his citizenship. So it doesn't have anything to do whether you're married or not. Any individual, if you come here and once you stay past the time of your visa, you can apply for residency, and most times they're going to grant it to you. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I had a quick statement that I wanted to make, if it's okay.
Okay.
When you mentioned about when they asked you, were you like a descendant of a slave? And you said yes. And so that's true. Before I knew my African ancestry, I was ashamed of that. And then when I knew about the Takar woman that survived, I was just so proud to have her blood run through my veins. Mm-hmm. And without that knowledge, I would have never had that, that feeling like, she was an amazing woman. And everyone that came after her, because I could only do my mother's side, but and every woman that came after her and survived. So it just changes you when you know.
Yes, that's true. I can agree. And I'm sure once I do it, which I will, and because now that I'm here, I can go and trace my roots and all of that. So yeah. And then that's even gonna probably open up something else for me, because I'll know. So thank you for that.
Okay, my question is, Sister Shariese, I know you in Cameroon now, you home in Cameroon, and imagine that you actually got your DNA and then you're not from Cameroon. Will you be disappointed?
Wait, so can you ask me the question again?
Okay. Imagine that you actually found out you actually go for African ancestry, and then you was told that you maybe from Ghana, from Sierra Leone, you're not from Cameroon. So are you gonna feel a bit disappointed about it?
No, I won't be disappointed. I'm gonna go, yes. And let me tell you, my husband, he'll say, babe, I know you got Cameroonian in you. You look like my people. That's why I chose you.
Now the question is, when you walk in the street, you look at people. Do you actually look at certain people and feel like, oh, she look like me? Just like you said that person, your auntie look like sister Abba. So do you know
I see
people and think that, wow, and then you just turn back again, look at the person again, this person look like me.
Yeah, I see a lot of that. I have even how they'll say that everybody has a twin, and I have a cousin on my mom's side, and I saw a lady here that looked identical to her, and I'm like, I had to do a double take because I'm like, I knew that wasn't her, but that woman looked just like my mom's cousin. And I see that all the time. So yeah.
So that explains because you found someone who looked like your auntie?
Yes.
And that's from your mom's side as well?
Yes.
And then
I'm going to see if I can.
your mom cousin. So obviously, it's lucky that you're from that area. Then.
Yeah. Okay. Donald sent a message saying he's not sure if his sound is working, but he has 2 questions. You mentioned in the video that the French in Cameroon is different than the French spoken in France. Could you talk about the differences and what you suggest when it comes to communicating with someone who speaks French? And the second question is, what is your favorite food to eat and how are you adjusting to the different foods?
Great.
Okay.
Great question.
So, yeah, the French is different because I know it, even if, you know, the French that's spoken in Canada and here in Paris, I know is different. I think it's the dialect. Like here, they use, I guess, a lot of slang. And some of the words, okay, like Asia. Asia is sorry. That's what they say here. But if I go to Paris and I say Asia, they're not gonna know what I'm saying. I have to say, what's Asia in real French? It's désolé.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
désolé. Yeah.
Right. So it's things like that that's different for me. So because I don't know the difference because I'm not fluent, you know, and my husband's like, well, first just learn the French that we speak here because this is your home. So learn that first. And then when you go to Paris, then you can speak how they speak.
It's true. It makes sense. Just like English and patois.
And then the second question is, what is your favorite food to eat and how are you adjusting to the different foods? I love the grilled fish and my favorite is the indole. The indole with crevettes or gambas. Yes. Oui, oui.
All questions? We got Brother Monty who just joined. Brother Monty is actually in Cameroon. He's from he live in New York. He live in New York, but he's actually in Cameroon. New Jersey, yeah. New Jersey. Yeah, he's in Cameroon for holiday. So anything you want to add, Brother Monty, go ahead.
Ngamo chafsielo pepuma.
Mola.
Kwe pefusieze. Kapsi eko wala. Yeah, I had to say in the faith to greet you. Just to say that I salute you and I send you all the positive vibe and that may your ancestors all cover you and protect you. So yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm home.
Yes.
You know, in the village, in the west region called Bana. You know, it's one of the well-known village here in the west region. Yep. So I came home, not for the holiday, of course, my brother, not for the holiday.
ReConnect, yeah.
Yes, not for the holiday. So it's always glad to connect with you. As you guys know, it's not easy to get to be connected on the to get the internet connection, especially the era I am right now. So every time I can, I will try. But you know, if I start, you know, speaking like a robot, don't be surprised because the connection might be going out. Yeah, but it's always a pleasure to be listening to all those testimonies, and yeah, it's great. So yeah, no, I don't have any question right now, but I'm just listening. Yep.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
And enjoy the connection home.
Brother Markham, I got another quick question for Sister Shariese.
Go ahead.
The children going to school there, are they learning the French language and the American language, or both, or what languages are they learning?
So the school my son goes to, he is international school and it's bilingual, so it's French and English. So the school, his teachers, each class has 2 teachers. One is English speaking and one is French speaking. And so they're learning both.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
I have a question while I've got you here. You was talking about living over there. Are the prices, the living expenses, or is it hard to live over there in comparison to the United States? Is it cheaper to live there than in the United States?
The cost of living far as groceries and like rent and things like that, I would say it's definitely cheaper. I can get a big thing of tomatoes like this, okay, for 500 francs, which is less than $1. It's like 80 something cents.
Wow.
Wow.
You can, and I love the beans and puff puff. I can get beans and puff puff for my son and my husband and me, or up to 3 to 4 people for 500, less than $1.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now, some things like cheese, your milk, you're going to have your things like that that's kind of equivalent to what you would pay back in the United States. Yes. But it's definitely cheaper.
So when you describe that to us as far as the puff puff and the tomatoes, that's if we go into the marketplace and haggle. But if you go into a supermarket, for instance, I would pay more.
No,
Is that correct?
It's about the same. Now, of course, in the market. So let me tell you the difference. So you know how back in US we have what we call farmers market.
Exactly.
It's fresh produce, it's organic, right?
Right.
Okay, well, the market here is like your big farmers market all over in Cameroon. It's cheaper. Right. So those tomatoes that I'm talking about, I go to the market and I'm going to get that for 500 francs. Now, if I go to somewhere like Carrefour and I get that same amount of tomatoes, I'm probably going to pay maybe an extra 100. So it'll be like maybe 600 to 700 francs versus 500 francs, which is still cheaper than what you would buy in the US.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about eating out? If you eat out, because I saw a video, if you eat out, that's where it can get to be expensive to live there. You kind of have to live the way they live there in order to take American dollars to make it work good there. Would that be correct? I need some understanding.
It just depends. Now, eating out, which I love to eat out. I love the nightlife here too. So, okay, now now that I've been here, I have my certain restaurants and places that I'll eat at. I go to this one place, it's a French restaurant, and I get the fish. Here they call it sole, which is the flounder there. You know the flounder fish?
Yes.
The flounder is the most expensive fish here in Cameroon. Okay. So I go to that restaurant and I can get that fish, a whole fish, with 2 sides and with like rice and cream sauce. And it's about 7,500 francs for that dish. And let me see what that is in US dollars. That is $12.89. But this French restaurant, This French restaurant is like 5-star restaurant.
Wow.
It's really nice.
That
Now,
same meal in the US would be like $20.
Yeah.
Exactly. And another thing, the filet mignon.
Yes.
It's very expensive in US, right?
Yes.
So when I go to that market, so just know all the meat that you have in the market, it is a cow, a pig, or a chicken that they killed that day, early that morning, and you get the fresh cut. They're not using hormones, they're not using antibiotics, and the soil here is natural. The soil in US, they put so much chemical, pesticides. Those animals are eating those things, and they're also filling it up with hormones. You got a chicken that's the size of a rock waller, So it's not good. So The filet mignon is 3,200 francs for 1 kilo. Now, 1 kilo is 2 pounds. So no, it's more. It's like 30, maybe 3,400. So I'm getting 2 pounds of filet mignon here for $5.85 American dollars.
Wow.
$5.85
Wow.
for 2 pounds of filet mignon.
Yeah.
Here, and it's fresh and it's good, and my husband love it.
Yeah.
He loved
I
it.
need to
So
send
he's
my
like,
wife there.
yes. So now the gambas, which are the big shrimp, those are I would have to say is what's the most expensive, because you're gonna pay maybe $20 or more for 2 pounds, which is almost kind of equivalent back to what you would pay in US.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, there was somebody else had raised their hand and had a question that had wrote it in the chat.
Yeah.
I want to back up and let them have their say.
Okay. Okay.
Questions?
Well, my question was regarding, I don't know if you hear me well.
Go ahead, brother.
My question was regarding the current divide between the Francophone and the Anglophone. How was it for you? Did you experience any discrimination as English speaking person?
Yes, I have. I have definitely experienced some. So, you know, let me give you my take on that. So the problem, what I see here is, now this is just what I see. I can't speak for all the other English speakers. I think because of the Anglophone crisis, a lot of the English speakers were dispersed from their homes. They had to flee from the violence and stuff because of the Anglophone crisis, right? A lot of them have come here to the French-speaking parts to live because they didn't have a choice. The thing is, the English speakers, from what I see, they are more open to want to coincide with the French. They don't know French, but because they have to adapt, they speak and they at least try and they learn any way they can. But the French speakers, they're like this. You need to learn. They feel like you need to learn. If you're gonna be around, you need to learn French. A lot of them do not want to try to learn English. They don't want to change. So I do not agree with the violence and the things that that group of individuals have taken on with all the killings and all the stuff that they're doing for that Anglophone crisis. But I can understand their struggle and why they are upset. And when I was in that place, Orca, when I was sick, I had a nurse, because she was bilingual, and she was rude to me because I couldn't speak French. And I said, madam, I said, first of all, I'm a foreigner. I'm here and I'm sick. And she said, well, don't you know that Cameroon is a French-speaking country? I said, no, it's English and French. And I said, that's why you have the English speakers who are fighting and doing all this nonsense now, because of the mindset of someone like you. So you need to stop that nonsense and don't do that. And I told her just like that, right there, just like that. And I've also had a couple of other situations like that. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but I'm not fluent, and I'm a foreigner. So I'm not gonna learn the language, after a year. It's gonna take time. And there are people here that I do know that have been here and they picked it up, but they've been here like 10, 15 years. Well, it's only been a year for me. So yes, I have experienced some discrimination. And I'm not saying that all the French speakers are like that, but from what I can see, they're not as open to learning English as the English are open to learning French.
Is your husband French speaking?
Yes, he's perfectly bilingual. He's French speaking. French is his first language.
So
Yeah.
you know the quickest way to learn it is have everybody.
But he tells me, baby, I can't do that. You're gonna give me brain damage.
I was gonna say, if you just get him and your son and your in-laws to only speak French to you, you'll learn real quick.
But the thing is, when they are speaking to me, some words I can catch on and I hear. But remember, I tell you, they have their own way of speaking. And remember, but sometimes they'll speak French. They'll mix a little Basar, the traditional language. I'm like, I'm just trying to learn French. Don't start talking the other 2 or 3.
I hear you.
You know, so I'm trying, but what helps me is I have a chauffeur, and he's from Bamenda, so he's perfectly bilingual. And when I go to the market, when I'm going somewhere, if my husband's not with me, my chauffeur is with me. So he's kind of like my assistant as well. And that's how I navigate, you know, when I'm outside of the house. Yeah.
Also, too, Asian people in the US, they learn English by watching TV. So I know you like there are a bunch of French stations. So
yes,
that's another option too.
You're right. And actually, sometimes I'll try to watch a Netflix movie or a TV show in French. And honestly, I can probably read and understand reading French better than I can speak it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm better at reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes they'll say, oh, you Americans, you speak too fast. And I'm like, name shows, that's the same thing in French. They speak very fast too. So, you know, anyway, I'll get it.
Are you looking to speak any local language? Maybe learning something, maybe for your son as well?
Learn what, any traditional language?
Yes, like maybe Bassa or maybe a tone.
No, bro, I just need to learn French first.
All right, so we got 20 minutes before the end of the meeting. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go through everyone just to see if they got anything to add, any question. So we're gonna start with the queens in the room first. So
Donnell asked a question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Donnell asked a question. What is your spiritual experience like there? My spiritual experience? Can you elaborate a little bit? I have not been to church here because most of the ones here are French. I do know that majority are Catholic. My husband is Catholic and I'm Christian. So, because that's a broad question, spiritual experience here.
Okay.
Okay, I'll wait till he responds, but okay, brother, you can go ahead.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It's all right. So we're gonna start with a Chica woman. So she's gonna tell us if she got anything to add or what she think about the whole chat.
Boris has another question as well.
Oh, you got a question, Boris? Okay, let's go back on the question first, and then we're gonna go through. Okay, brother Boris, go ahead.
Yeah. I wanted to ask a question that goes in the same direction with the one from before. Do you feel any tension between the tribes? Even though you're a foreigner, maybe you can feel that the Pamela case, the Betty, do you feel like they all work together or you feel a division? How is it for you as a foreigner?
I believe there is a difference. You know how in the US people do, what do you call? We have stereotypes. Well, I feel like they have stereotypes stereotypes between some tribes here. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
But not something that gets like violent or bad. It's more like
No, it's
stereotype.
just more like if there's a certain person from a certain tribe and they do a certain action, another person from a tribe will be like, oh, you know, that's so and so, that's just what they do. Like stuff like that. But not far as violence or anything like that, no.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good question. Any question, anyone?
If I may, I guess it's twofold. First of all, the Bamileke, are they mainly from the west of the country? The Bamileke?
I'm not sure.
I can probably answer that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bamileke, they mainly in the west, and then the whole southwest. No, northwest, and then some group in the southwest as well.
So are they mainly English speakers?
No, the Bamileke are both English. The Bamileke in the western part of Cameroon, they're in the English-speaking administrative, the French-speaking administrative area, because we need to speak about administrative. So they used to be in the same land, so it was divided. So they're in the French-speaking administrative area. Now the Bamileke in the northwest, they speak English, like Bamenda, like Kumbo, and all them area, they speak English. And then you got the Bamileke in the southwest, which is Libialem, close to Limbe and Boya, all that, they speak English as well. So
okay.
They speak both, yeah.
And I just want to say the first time I've ever attended one of these, and I think is informative and enjoyable. And I learned a lot.
Thank you.
I really did. From everyone. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. And I already told you, so you my brother.
Yeah, yes. I'm looking in the mirror.
Better not leave me out of there, the Yoruba.
Yeah. I'm looking there too. You have to email me some kind of way.
Yes, I can. Let's see. I'll get on the chat and I'll put my email in there for you so we can get together and chat. Be glad to do. It'd be great.
Okay.
And if I may come on here, since I don't like to interrupt, I try to be respectful. I'll just go ahead and do my little thing right now with Shariese and everything. I first want to thank her for this opportunity to speak to us today, and I've enjoyed it. I'm like my brother, family, Kenneth. I've learned a lot here today, and I'm just proud to be a part of this group. It's a good bunch of people, and thank you for your knowledge, your information, and living there and getting to know a lot more about where you come from. This is what it's all about, and
yes.
I enjoy this. I love it. And you somebody seem like it's just already kind of grown on me because of your mindset and mine is a lot alike about how you feel about your ethnicity, your race, who you are, where you come from. It's great to get to meet you today and get to know you. And also, I would like to say thank you and get where some way we could have some more contact besides just this, because my wife is from Cameroon. She has Cameroonian too. She's Tikal. Yeah. So you and her could correspond along with Avante, whatever, and try to.
Now, while I'm here, I got 2 questions, I think, and then I'm gonna hush and listen, because when you learn a whole lot, but sometimes when you talk, you'll miss it. But 2 questions. Is family important there? And is there a lot of violence where you live at?
Okay. So family is very, very important here. I would say the way they do family here is have a better, like we sit down at the table, we all eat. My husband and his sisters, they get on the phone on a regular basis and they have like family meetings all the time. We make sure we all, get together. They check on each other. And with my son, at any given time, like even right now, my son is with my sister-in-law and my nieces, which they live right around the corner. I can actually walk from my apartment to her house. And at any given time, if I need help with my son, all I have to do is call and they're right there to take him at any time. So the support and how they are as a family here is everything. People, they come together as a family. We eat as a family. If you need something, they're gonna put together and they're gonna give it to you. So, and for me, I'm an only child. So I'm my mother's only daughter. And when I came here, I had to tell my mom, I told her 2 years in advance before I moved here, because my mom and I are very close. But now that she see that I'm having this experience and she see how happy I am and how much I have evolved and grown as a woman, she's so happy, for me. And even her, she'll say, you actually have more support there with Fabian's family than you have here. And it's true. So I'm so thankful for that. And far as the violence, where I'm at is in Complex Biak. No, it's no violence here. It's not dangerous here where I am. Now, certain places in the neighborhood, because this Complex Biak is really big. Certain places at night, of course, I just wouldn't walk, but for the most part, it's pretty safe. And another thing is, there are some, like, I think the police chief or the minister of something lives around here. So they have armed guards that are around those areas. So when you have those armed guards, people who are trying to do something they shouldn't be doing, they're not going to hang around there. And another thing I will say, for the first time in a long time, when I see a cop here, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid.
Okay.
Like I am in the US. When I went back to US in July of this year and stayed for 2 months. And when I would drive, and if a cop would pull on the side of me or behind me, my heart would literally just beat out of my chest because I was afraid. I had anxiety when I went back to the US. But when I come here, I don't feel any of that. I'm not afraid.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you
Good.
very
You're
much.
welcome. It was nice meeting you both, and I hope we can chat again like this.
Yes, please.
Please.
I wish you good health and prosperity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. So first, I'm gonna say thanks again, for your time and everything, to actually take that time to give us all the information. Me as born in the country, and there's so many things I learned as well. And I'm gonna say again, thanks to Sister Avanti. She made this happening.
Yes.
Everything happened because she got in touch and everything. So thanks a lot for bringing us the sister to this chat. All right, so I just gonna wait a few minutes again. Anyone got a question? Then you can ask now.
I do.
Okay, go ahead, sister.
It's a personal question. Do you plan to have any more kids?
Nope, I'm done. I'm done.
One and done?
I'm finished. No, let me tell you, my oldest is in Houston, Texas with my mother. He is 21. He just turned 21 this month.
Okay.
And my youngest is 3. So my sons are 18 years apart. So
wow.
Because I was going to ask, what would childbirth be like in Cameroon? Because I know here you can get an epidural and all like that. So I was just wondering. But since you're done, guess you wouldn't have explored that.
No, and I don't want to either.
Just one quick statement. My mother told me, I told her I was going to go to Cameroon. I'm her only daughter, but I do have a brother. And she was like, oh, I'll be so worried when you go to Africa. I told her, I said, you should be more worried when I leave out living in Chicago than in Africa.
Now, let me answer the question, even to the couple who just asked me when they said, is it dangerous where I live? It's not, because I'm in Yande, so I'm in the capital. Now, what I will say, let me just tell y'all, all the bad things that you see, the killings and the stuff that Western media tell you about Africa, those things are not done in the city. All those things, it's on the borders. It's way out in the rural areas. I am hundreds of miles away from those type of places. So, when I did come, I registered with the U.S. Embassy to let them know that, hey, I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm traveling abroad to Cameroon. So if anything to happen, I would at least be in their registry. And so once you become registered, they'll send you emails on the phone, like if there's an event or something, and they'll say, hey, there's going to be a political event held downtown. As a foreigner, it'll be in your best interest not to be anywhere around that or something like that. So we get those type of notifications, and we don't go out too far out, past the city or anything like that.
Okay. Brother Kenneth, did he get my email address right quickly? And my phone number?
I'll check.
Okay, I sent it to you. I just want to make sure you got it. And if you could put it in the chat and send it back to me. I apologize again for interrupting.
If I may say something real quick, brothers and sisters. Yes, to what you say right now, my sister, about what the U.S. Embassy in Cameroon is doing. I myself, I have been receiving these emails. I know when I went to Cameroon, I think back in 2016. For the first time, I had to register. I decided to go and register because I was kind of curious as to what they're gonna do, and then they kept sending me those emails. And you're right, when you read those emails, if you're an American and you never came in Cameroon, you would think Cameroon is a war zone as a country. But I'll tell you right now, before I leave, I'll make sure I go there and put them in their place. And I will do it because they must stop. I personally take this because of those emails, I actually made a document on it because there was some kind of like factual, that they call factual things about Cameroon they put on it that's completely false. And I'll go there and I'll make sure I speak to whoever is responsible for writing those things and ask them why they're doing it, because they have to stop doing this thing because it's destroying the image of the country. And not just that, it's also destroying the relationship between both country. I don't even know if our government officials read those things because it's just outraging. Right now, if you guys are interested, I can share a part of the document that they sent to those emails, and you guys are gonna read what they're saying about Cameroon. It's just outraging, but I'll do my part.
Thank you. That makes sense.
Okay, I want to let me say something today. I was trying to answer this question. Okay, yeah, that email, now the ones that I get, the notification, because I have registered, for me, I see it more of just, it's not for they're saying that something bad can happen. It's just because some of those political demonstrations or whatever, you see it all the time. It can go wrong. Exactly. And if it's a big crowd of people, you're in that crowd, if anything, that's criminal here. It's like petty theft, like pickpocketing or snatching a purse or something like that. But also, guns are illegal here in Cameroon. If you get caught with the gun here in Cameroon and you're not a licensed officer, one that can be licensed to hold a firearm, you're going to jail. Mm-hmm. So I believe those emails are just to warn foreigners, just more of a caution, not as they're trying to make it out to be like a war zone. So, And there are other things that happen and go on, but some of those things are not talked about because I believe people are afraid to talk about it.
Really?
I'll just leave that one like that because, you know, there's good and bad everywhere you go. It is, right? It's good and bad everywhere you go.
Right.
But for me, the most part, I do feel safe. People here are very welcoming. People here are very nice. And like I said, some of the stuff that you do see and all the bad stuff, that stuff is not happening here where I'm at. So that part that they're talking about is not here. I'll just say that.
Good.
I'm sure everybody's like, well, what else is there? That's a
Well, we have it in
conversation for
different-
another day.
We're violent in different places in the U.S. So
Yes. I mean, look how they took, can you believe how they took over the Capitol?
amazing, and getting away with it. Amazing.
When I saw that on the TV, I was like, I said, man, they doing worse. They can't talk about Cameroon, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So.
Oris has another question in the chat, Shariese.
Okay.
So you have so much. Okay, I hope this might be my last one. Is it like a middle class neighborhood?
That I'm
Where you
in.
live?
Yes, I would say so. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Like my building, I picked this way because the view here, if you guys see on my video, when I go out to my balcony and I see that view and I see those mountains, it is breathtaking for me. So the building that I'm in, it's an older building. It's nice on the inside, but the problem with a lot of places here in Cameroon, people put a lot of money into doing something good, but the problem is they don't maintain it as they should, you know? So now this apartment that I'm in, it's 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. The rooms are huge. Every room has its own bathroom. So actually it's 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths because we have a half bathroom for the guests to go to. And we pay about $413 or $430 a month. And it's huge. It's like maybe 1,700 square feet.
Wow.
So an apartment like that in US, I'll say in Houston, man, they don't even have apartments that don't have their own bathroom, especially if you get a 3 bedroom, you know, you're going to have only maybe 2 bathrooms, but it's going to cost you about $2,000, about $2,000, right?
Yep.
That's correct.
Yeah. So.
And what about the road over there in Cameroon? The road, I mean, how do you find it?
Bumpy. Whiplash. Oh, Cameroon. I love it. But now the roads going out of town is good. But like even around here, we have some good, like the road here in our neighborhood is paved. Most of them are paved, but then you have some that are not paved. So they can do better with the roads. Yeah. It'll make it easier for the drivers. People who drive. And it also would cut down the traffic too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because if you're stopping and going for potholes and going around stuff, it creates traffic and, you know, other things. So, yeah.
So will you drive over there?
I actually have driven here before. Can you believe it? I drove like 2 or 3 times and my husband said I almost gave him a heart attack because I was driving crazy. I said, well, I'm just driving how they drive. When in Rome, you do what the Romans do. So when you're in Cameroon, you do what the Cameroonians do.
You have to be aggressive.
Yes, exactly. And
Yes.
I'm aggressive driver in US and I'm an aggressive driver here.
Denise, we sent you a message in your chat.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tracy has a question in the
Okay.
chat.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we got all the question.
No, there's a question in the chat.
Okay, on the chat. Sorry, go ahead.
Hello. Hello. Hi, my name is Tracy, and I live in Chicago right now. From Chicago, but I lived in Cameroon for 8 years, from 2009 to 2017. I also lived in Yaoundé. I came in late, so I was wondering, what neighborhood do you live in Yaoundé?
It's I'm in Complex Biak. It's near Tropicana.
Oja?
Oja, yes.
Oh yes, okay, I know that area. Yeah, it's sort of on the outskirts,
Airport.
sort of.
Yeah. Yes, near to close to that main road that takes you to the airport.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's nice out there.
Yes.
That's going towards my hometown when I was born.
Okay.
Oh.
And what are you doing? What
sister.
exactly are you doing in Cameroon? I'm sorry, I missed that. I know you talked about it, but what exactly are you doing?
So far as why I'm here or working wise?
Yes, while you're there working. Yes.
Okay, so I came here in July 5th of 2020. So I've been here for over a year. And I came here because I've always wanted to live somewhere abroad. And when I met my husband, he's Cameroonian, but he was living in US when we met. And he has his US citizenship now. And so when we met and got together, we basically had the same idea to go and live somewhere where we can, be free and have a better life, in our opinion, for our kids. So we decided to come here and we started our own business as well.
Okay, awesome.
Yes. And when did you, so you left in 2017?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Okay.
My
So
husband is also Cameroonian. I was doing missionary work,
Okay.
teaching praise and worship dance, as well as earning a living as an English ESL teacher.
Okay.
Yes, but I lived in Yaoundé for 2 years. I lived in Boya and Bamenda.
Oh, wow. You were in Boya and Bamenda.
Yes, I love all of it.
Yes.
Yes, my favorite is Bamenda, though. Bamenda is my
Okay.
favorite. And Bamenda does have a little trouble right now, more so than any other place, but I don't care. I'm praying that situation gets rectified very soon.
Yeah, and I wanted to go to those places, but like you said, because they're having some trouble there's many places I have not been able to go to. Even Limbe is having some trouble too. And
Right.
and Bamenda, even Boa also. So hopefully they can resolve that situation. And may I ask, why did you leave and go back? Or
Well, I met my husband in 2015. I was not planning to, I had no idea I was going to get married. I knew that's where I was going to live and die, in Cameroon. And we got together, and then that situation broke out. It took place over a couple of years that it got to where it is now. But it wasn't, you're right, it wasn't in Yaoundé. But since I am with somebody who is very, he loves his country, and he is also somewhat of a rebel, he would have been either in jail or dead had we stayed. But that's not the reason we left. For me, I just felt I needed a break. It was time for me to leave and just go for a little while. I couldn't have imagined I would have been gone this long. But we're planning to visit in January for a month.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
and I've missed every moment of not being here. I've missed it. But I'm really happy that I've met and been able to hook up with other DNA, because I'm a DNA Cameroonian as well. And so I'm happy that I was able to meet. In fact, my husband being here is why I met the DNA Cameroonian group. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I like to hear that. Even me, I feel like, because like I was saying, I've always wanted to live abroad, but I didn't know how I was going to get there, or I didn't know anybody that lived there or anything. So my husband was the one who basically was my channel for that, you know, and so I'm forever grateful for that.
How's your French?
Not good.
Don't feel bad. I lived there for 8 years, and I'm sort of still intermediate. So, but my listening as well, but it's the speaking I have a problem with.
See, that's the same for me. I can catch certain words during a conversation, and I can say, okay, they're talking about this. But to speak it is my pronunciation, and to say some of the words I'm not there yet.
Well, you'll get there. And you guys, you're really brave to go there, not because of the civil unrest that is happening, but more so during COVID. You're very brave, because a lot of people are afraid outside of COVID to go to Africa, to live in Africa. So I'm glad that you just got up and went and followed your dream.
Yes, thank you. And now that you say that, that's something else I wanted to mention about the COVID. Let me tell y'all. So you see the numbers when COVID hit, how all the people were dying in US, right?
Yeah.
Here in Cameroon, the numbers were not like that. When you go somewhere into the grocery store, you were required to wear a mask. They were checking temperatures, everyone's temperature. They give you hand sanitizer, or they'll have a station where you can wash your hands. This was outside of the grocery stores, the banks, some restaurants, bars, clubs. They had this for a long time. They really maintained and kept up with that very well. And I was impressed to see a country like Cameroon have that, because back in US and Houston, things were just all over the place, you know? So Cameroon really did a good job of containing the COVID, and people did die, but the numbers were nowhere near what we saw like back in US. So I think that's, was something good that they did.
Well, the African continent is already dealing with so many contagious and non-contagious illnesses. So it would not have been a problem there at all.
Yes. And also to the, I just lost what I was going to say. As far as the COVID, that's what I wanted to say. The malaria. My take on that is, I feel like a lot of people that live in this type of environment, Cameroon is like a tropical rainforest, right? They have malaria, yellow fever, but that's not common anymore. It's mostly malaria. Well, COVID is kind of similar to malaria. Yeah. And if you lived in Cameroon and you're gonna get malaria at least a couple of times if you're living here. And I believe the malaria medication, there's something in it that makes people here kind of a little bit immune to the COVID, especially if you don't have any other underlying issues and stuff like that. I believe people here having malaria or have had malaria in their lifetime and have taken some type of malaria treatment, it has kind of been like a prevention for them getting COVID. And I think that's why the numbers were not so bad here like they were in some other parts of the world.
And I never had malaria the 8 years I was in Cameroon.
Really?
I took prophylaxis when I traveled in and out, but for a couple of weeks, but the whole time I was there, I didn't take it.
And you never got malaria?
Never.
So when you took the prophylaxis, did you take it on a regular basis? You took it one time or?
I took it, people always advised me to take it when I'm leaving the country, leaving Cameroon to come back here and make sure I get enough that I can take it before I come back into Cameroon from the US. But I never took it like every week, every day. When I first got there, I took it maybe for a month. And after that, I stopped.
Wow.
And I didn't take anything else.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay.
At the most, I will say what was regular for me was a cold. I regularly had colds, but people always said it's because I was living in Bamenda and it was dusty. And then Yande, it was dusty. Yande is actually where I got colds the most.
Yes.
But every place else, I had a cold and never passed.
Okay.
And I never got malaria.
Yeah, you're right about the dust. So people that deal with allergies, that's one thing. It is very dusty here, and the dust and dirt here, it's like a clay, like a reddish color, and it gets really, really dusty. Even now, all of us we're just getting over. I think I had some type of respiratory infection, and my son, he gets the cold a lot. It's just the season. But now since I think I've had malaria probably 2 or 3 times since I've been here. But what I do now is I take the Artemisia and I drink that. My sister-in-law told me to do it because herself, she's been drinking it for like 5 years. And I think she's building immunity to malaria. So, and it just depends on you as a person. You know, some can come here and not ever get sick, and some come and they get sick, you know. And I did. I was sick a lot when I first came here.
I actually, for people who are planning to go there, I actually loaded up because I knew a year before I was going. So I loaded up on beetroot, garlic, and bee pollen.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And that's what I guess that's what helped me, because I took it regularly while I was there.
Garlic and beetroot. What else?
Garlic, beetroot, and bee pollen.
So the beetroot, like the red beets, like the vegetable?
Yes, yes. There's a company called Nature's Way, and they have it in pill form.
Okay.
Yes. And if some people are like susceptible to dysentery, because that was something, because I always sorry guys, I ate street food all the time. But I also took charcoal. I took charcoal pills, and that helped me a lot.
Okay.
To stop having that problem. But because Cameroon in their food, they have a lot of pepper, and also if you like me, you like the kosam, the yogurt, the liquid yogurt. Those two things, they kind of don't mesh together in some people's stomachs. Yeah. So you have to be careful.
Okay.
But
that's good information. Yeah, I'll have to try that. And some of that stuff, like now that you say for those supplements, I will say if that's some of the things that I try to bring back with me from US, because some of those things you can't find here, but if you do, it is very expensive, you know.
Yeah,
very expensive. Yes.
But the food, like beets, you can find those in the market. Beets,
yes.
Garlic is plentiful and things like that. I kept those things in my diet as well. But the dust is there, and if you're breathing it, you're gonna get you could possibly get a cold or get allergy issues. I had allergy issues while I was there.
Yes.
So, but it's it's livable. You
Yes.
are easy living there, much easier than here.
Yes, yes, it's easier. If you, like I tell people, if you can get past the aesthetics of how some things look and of course have an open mind, you can do it. You know, it's not impossible. And I think a lot of us from US, you know, we were kind of spoiled and like for me, my biggest thing was the water and the lights. When we first came in a certain area we were living, the lights would go out. And I know one time I was without light for 4 days, 4 days. And eventually I ended up not having water because the way the water system works here, you have to have the electricity to pump the water and bring it up into, you know, the house. So it was challenging, but I, you know, got through it. And like I said, now the lights are pretty good now because they over the weekend or over those 4 days, they were building a new transformer and they put a new connection in so the lights can be better. So if the lights go off now, they'll go off, and the longest they stay off is maybe 15 to 30 minutes and then they come back. But most of the times it's not even that long. It's maybe like 10 minutes and they come right back. So that has improved. But the water, it's like today, I had no water all day today. Yeah.
Do you all collect water?
Huh?
Do you collect water?
So at our
water
business,
barrels?
yes. So at our business, I use the big 10-liter bottles, and at our business we have a well, and so I go there and I have like, I don't know, 15 or 20 of those bottles, and I just fill them up to make sure I have water in the house. And of course, when I give my son his bath, I'll just heat the water up and put it in his tub and do that for hot water.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Lovely.
my sister Lachelle, I do have a question though. I don't think I've heard that you talking about it. I mean, your husband being from the Bassa tribe, you know,
His
and I'm sure you know.
mother's side is Bassar, his father is Itom.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you experienced any traditional or spiritual, I would say, process from that tribe being, you know, whether coming from his mother or his father? If yes, what was it and what were you thinking about? Like, what was your thought? And I'm talking about any original kind of custom that he had.
Okay. Ask the question again. Have I experienced what?
If you have ever experienced, right, any traditional custom or any traditional rituals that the particular people, you know, whether coming from his father or his mother's side, that it kind of like practice, or that they had you going through, or you saw him going through?
No, I didn't have any. Now I've heard of some stuff, and some stuff I'm just like, no. But for the most part, no. I haven't had, because they're Catholic on his father's side and his mother's side. But as far as any traditional like stuff like that, not really, no.
So you never went to his village?
Yeah, no, I went to his village, yeah. Yeah, I've been to his father's village. We went to visit his father's grave.
And where was that? What village was that, please?
What's the name of his village? Okola?
Okola.
Okay,
Okola. Yes.
Okola.
Yes.
What
Yes.
region is it in?
That's the south.
That's actually
the south
Okola. That's central, going towards the west. Eton, Chubashile is Eton la.
Anyway, I'll say that it's not too, you know, from the city in Yande, his village is about, it's not too far outside of the city. I mean, it's maybe like 45 minutes outside of the city. And it's probably even less, but it's take that long, you know, because of the roads.
I see. Okay. So, and when you went there, you had to greet the elders. Did you had to greet any elders there?
Okay, you know what? I'm misinterpreting your question. Okay. So when we did go there, I did meet some elders. We went to his father's gravesite. They did like a prayer. And also down from the father's gravesite, there's a river there. And they was telling us, you know, some stories. Like my husband, when he was a kid, they used to swim in that river and play and all that. But now, you know, no one really swim or play there or anything like that. So that was kind of cool to see where he grew up. And also out there, that land, they own all of that land. It is huge, but because of the road and how it is, it's so far. It's not somewhere where you really can, you know, go, because people here like to build their houses and stuff like that, right? But what's the point of building a nice big house when you can't even get to it because of the road, you know? So, but no, I did meet some of the elders and to see the land and just, and another thing, they, what they do here is, you know, back in US, people, they bury their loved ones at a cemetery, right? But here, people bury their loved ones on their land, on their property. So I thought that's, you know, it's something different compared to how we do back in the US. Right? I'm right? They, you know, build on your land.
Now you start.
And
Now
at
you
first,
start talking stuff.
yes. And at first, when I came and I saw that, I said, I'm like, why? Because what was strange to me is you have a nice house, and then somewhere from the house or in the back, you have like graves. And for me, because coming from US, when I saw that, I thought it was kind of creepy. But when my husband explained the tradition and he explained why they do that, and I said, you know what? Okay, that makes sense. I understand. And actually that's better. And if you notice, back in the US, those people who are very rich and wealthy, they have the big estates. They do the same thing. They bury their people on their land, not in a cemetery, right? So when my husband explained that to me, I thought that was something that was, you know, very interesting. Yeah. So did I answer your question?
Yes. So yes, you know, I know you didn't really get what I wanted to
Yes.
go,
Yeah.
but I think you kind of like understood where I was going because
Yes.
I tell you, it's a lot that you still gonna discover from these people, whether from his father or his mother, because it's a lot. Now you mentioned something that's very, very important. The fact that they bury the dead in their own house, not in the cemetery. The cemetery is a Western European approach. It's not an African approach. We don't mix dead in the same place because it's about energy. So that right there is already a particular ritual that we do, burying your dead in your own house and living there with them because they actually never left.
Yeah.
They only left physically, but not spiritually. So yeah. And now one thing also I would like to add is maybe when you went there for the first time, no woman has sang for you when you got there. No, you didn't mention any woman singing for you.
A woman singing
Any
for me?
others? Yeah, any old woman.
Did she sing for me?
Like just maybe clapping the hand, like kind of chanting and stuff like that.
Maybe
No?
something like that, but not really singing. And another thing about what I did notice too, now my husband had two brothers that passed away this year. And something that they do there is after the body is taken to the village, they have people that stay there with the body all night, all day. And it's like right? And they stay there for, I think it's 9 days thereafter, right? And my husband, he went to do that with his other brothers in the family. And he explained that to me too. So yeah. Yeah.
We're talking real stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah. So like you said, I've learned a lot from that. And there's many more things that, that I'm sure that I'll learn.
Thanks for sharing that. But I just gotta tell you, please.
Spiritual person in our group, so he's the person who knows anything about spirituality. Just to let you know, so he knows when he's asking a question.
Yes.
No, because I was trying to get her to kind of like put a light again or look very well into the things that she did that she probably thought it was just like that. But now you're explaining what you saw, what you went through, all those things. It's part of the spirituality or the custom,
Yes,
of those
exactly.
people. Very
Yes.
important. Yeah.
Yes, it's very important. Yes, you're right. And I know my husband, he always tell me how he appreciate me being open, and because some of the things, from us, it's strange and it's different. But like I said, you have an open mind and you listen, and once he explained it, it's something that's not so foreign because now I understand it, So, and if it's his culture and if it's important to him, it should be important to me too. That's how it should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question to Malcolm. Yes, this is the Chico one. What is the significance of the singing?
Oh, the question was directed to me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's your brother.
Okay. So the signification, the sense of it is that when a stranger will come in the village, especially when it's she's being brought by her husband already married, right? And the marriage also is already known by those elders, right? So when now he's going to bring her, now the woman in there, in order for them to make sure that they're making the woman that's coming for the first time feel very welcome and feel eased, they're gonna assign some of the elder women to clap their hands and sing for you as you're coming, whether you understand or not. They're just gonna do it. And that's the way for them to show you first appreciation, but also to sing those songs to make sure that if you came with any doubt to those people, just ease it because they're only there to help you grow in their own way. Now, but after that, what they will do, they will usually offer you water, only water, no wine or nothing, but just water. Yeah, and usually that water is in a calabash form or some kind of yeah. But again, it's this is done usually when they already know that the couples are already went through the marriage ritual, all that good stuff, where both families are already uh, you know kind of like they know already that the two kids are together, kind of. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you. My name is June. I'm Jerry's wife. So, and I'm sorry I got your name wrong. I am sorry.
Yeah, she had met you, brother Auntie. This is my wife, that's Tikar, Bamaliki people as well.
yes.
Hope we didn't pay that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. It was so great. I had a great time. I've learned a lot. I'll be in the US. I wrote it in the chat. I'll be in the US in a couple of weeks. So, Cameroon. I was in the US before. Now I'm gonna go to Cameroon, and yeah, I'll be happy to meet anyone who's there. And I'll ping you also, Shariese. Always happy to connect.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So the message that anyone who hasn't subscribed to Sister Shariese Lachelle YouTube channel, please do that now. You know, because she's going to be bringing us a lot of valuable information about Cameroon. So don't miss out anything. So the YouTube page is Shariese. She's going to share it as well, so you can subscribe. And anyone got any last thing to add? We got 2 minutes to close the meeting. We're supposed to be here for 2 hours, so we went over 42 minutes already.
Oh, wow.
that's like 3 hours.
Wow.
So we well over, and it's quite late in Cameroon as well. We don't want to keep you for long. You got a young one to look after. So
Yes.
anyone got anything to add before we can let our sister go?
I just want to say thank you for joining us and accepting our invitation. This was great, and I hope you can join us again. And everybody, please like, share, and subscribe to her channel. Thank you.
Thank you. And real quick, I want to thank Jolie for getting me on to the group. I remember her from day one when I first started my channel last year. I didn't even know what I was doing. And she was one of the first ones to make a comment. And here we are, a year later, and for her to give me this opportunity, and she's always went in the comments and cheered me on and encouraged me. And so now to see her face to face, and now I'm like, she looked like my people. It's just, I really want to thank you so much. You know, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Sister, thank you, Sister Jolie. Thank you. And thanks for everyone being here today. You know, we've learned a lot.
All right, guys.
And, we share a lot from everyone. Thanks again. Thank you very much. And then we hope to again catch up again next week. So anyone got anything to speak about? I know Brother Jerry said he was going to do a meeting next week. Are you there?
Have this thing coming up, right, too?
Pardon?
We have a meeting with Witty coming up too.
Oh yeah, we got that as well. We got that coming up. Yeah. So
what's coming up?
That's fine. I can the next week. You know, I'm open right now.
So you're gonna next weekend, this weekend coming, yeah?
Yes, we'll be fine.
Okay, so we chat about that, and then I'm gonna get all the detail, and then we can do that. We can start.
Okay.
So thank you, everyone, and have a blessed rest of the day. You know, for the one who still got a long way to go, you know, I know it's early, and lovely night to everybody like me living in the UK, in Cameroon and Europe. So have a blessed night, family.
Thanks for hosting.
And thank you too, Moncam, for everything. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure having you. You know, you can come back anytime. The platform is our platform. It's not mine. Okay. It's no one. So you can come back anytime. If you got anything to share, you just come back and share it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.